All right. And today we are with my friend. I'm very honored to be here with you, Teresa. I know it has been a journey, at least for your book. I consider myself part of the book. So Teresa is a teacher, a book author, and a wholeness coach, and a Catholic coach too. And she's visiting us from Canada. And we are going to be talking about actually the legacy of hope. And I think hope is something that we all need, especially for my listener. Is something that we don't even see. We don't see the end of it. So I want you to introduce your book, introduce yourself, and tell us about the legacy of hope.
I would love to. Thank you so much for having me here today, Arianna. It's great to be here and to be able to share a little of my journey with your listeners. So, this spring, I recently had the opportunity to publish a book. It's called A Legacy of Love: How a Holocaust Survivor Helped Me to Live with Greater Freedom and Purpose. And this was such a cherished project to me. And as Ariana said, it was a journey. So this was something I was so pleased to bring to completion and to be able to share with Eva and with everyone. So my friend Eva, I met her about 10 years ago, and she came and presented to our students, and she talked a lot about her journey. She was in Auschwitz and in actually many different work camps after that. And unfortunately, she lost most of her family members. Her and her sister were the only two surviving from her immediate family. So that was just something unimaginable, I think, to all of us as we reflect back on that journey. So that alone, I think, was a great suffering for her. But she also had many challenges along the way after that. Some of her challenges were she had, after her time in the concentration camps, she was very sick with typhoid at the end. And then the Red Cross encountered her and took care of her. And some of the people she met through the Red Cross were from Sweden. So she decided to try to rebuild a life there. And then she met the love of her life. So there was a beautiful gift there for her husband, Rudy. And over time, they got married. They decided to move to Canada. And partly, too, in that whole time of history, there was the threat with the Korean War. So, just going through that horrific experience, she didn't want to have the risk of living through war again. And so they started their new life in Canada. And actually, she didn't know if she could have a family. I think all of the things her body went through, being deprived, there was always that desire and almost that hope of this new life she wanted to build after the camp. She was so determined to survive for her sister's sake, but also for a future she hoped for, that there would be life after the camp sometime. She never really knew, but she lived each day. And they were able to start a family, but they had twins, but only one survived. So, she was just grateful she could have that family with her husband. So, this amazing woman, suffered so much and then had this beautiful, joyful moment of building a family, even though there was hardships being in a new country. She's from Hungary originally, so she had to learn English. And her husband was an engineer, so he was off at work and she was navigating life in this new context. And then another tragedy hit. Her husband, on his way to work one morning, was hit with by a drunk driver. And the injuries he sustained with that accident, I think it was 1 or 2 months later, he ended up dying. So I remember she's actually written about her experience, but she's also shared with me. I remember her saying, she had a choice there. Like, was she going to lay down and die with this man who was the person in her life who showed her unconditional love and acceptance, who loved her for who she was and was the hope of her future? In a way, she built her life around that she could have, and she had to make a choice. Then, was she going to do that, or was she going to live and build a new life for her and her son? And she chose to live, to move on with life for her son. Of course she was heartbroken, of course life was difficult, but to speak to the amazing resilience of this woman, she was an immigrant, a single mother, but she also never got a chance to learn how to read. When she was growing up, her family was very poor, but only the boys in her family were able to get an education. So she was illiterate. So she had to navigate all this, plus she couldn't read. So even something like writing a check was difficult. She waitressed, she had to memorize the menu and work very hard throughout her life. So all of these things to me were so inspiring with Eva's story and even the challenges that she faced after that. And in the 10 years that I've known her and been able to have this gift, this beautiful friendship with her, I just thought one of those things could have really made someone stop and give up. Any one of those things. Just take surviving the Holocaust and just all of the pain that was in so much grief and so much loss. But somehow, over and over again, she made that choice to live, to move on, to get help. She had a lot of help on her journey too. She always says that it wasn't that she did it alone. She sought out help that she needed and support. Even still, though, for over 50 years, she was silent about her experiences of the Holocaust. She focused her energies into building that future. And then one of her grandchildren actually was the inspiration for her to share that story. And it was not easy, but it became something that gave her such purpose to share that message of hope with the next generation and to expose the ways that hatred can really cause so much destruction in this world, that she doesn't want those mistakes that were made when she was living through this horrible time in history to be made again. And she used her experience of pain, even though every time she speaks about it, it is difficult, but she used that to give hope and to also share with people that are going through tough times that there is something on the other side. So I feel like I cannot do her story justice in this short time, Arianna, but this inspired me, and I just thought at a certain moment I need to write a book just as a tribute to this beautiful story of survival, how she kept hope, her resilience, her courage, her heart, and just her testimony that to live with love and generosity is possible even after so much heartache and so much grief and pain in our lives. So it's just was such a cherished project to finish, and I know you walked through me with a lot of those processes along the way.
Well, it was a great honor to witness your own take and your own twist in the book. So tell us about the book. Like, you wrote the book, there is Eva in the book, but there is also you. Tell us about you in the book, your perseverance actually to write a book. So sometimes we have dreams, and I know you wanted to touch onto the dreams. We have a dream like writing a book or building a family, and there are obstacles on the way, and there are challenges that we need to overcome. There's sometimes it seems endless challenges. So I want you to tell us either the experience of following your dreams, and also what is your own twist in this book.
I'd love to. So this book was an idea and floating around for so long. And as you said, Arianna, I had this dream. But the first step was really a decision to pursue it because I was sitting on the fence. Oh, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know how to write a book. What do I do for this whole thing? But the dream was still there. And once I made that decision to say no, I'm going to give it my best shot. And if I fail, at least I know that I tried my best. And then to think, wow, what if I could finish it and Eva could read it? That would be a beautiful gift. So I think just my love for Eva was really something that helped me to decide to pursue this dream. But it was a decision, and I think that's where it started. And I realized, oh, now I'm just committing to it. I'm saying it might not work out. I don't know the path, but I'm going to decide to do it, and I'm going to show up to this dream along the way. So when I started writing the book, I didn't really include my own perspective as much. I was focusing a lot on Eva's wisdom. And then when I was sharing my book, somebody said, this book will not be complete unless you show up in it. Um, just as I was telling them about Eva's friendship and how much it meant to me, and how it helped me over the years to to be hopeful, to keep persevering in my challenges of life. So once I realized that it was going to be focused on our friendship and the wisdom of Eva, and then how I experienced that in my life. That took a lot of courage because it was scary to think about that and sharing my own experiences as well as Eva's challenges of life and her resilience. So that was a big shift for me. But I think what helped me is to understand I could design this dream too. I'm a teacher. I know there's busy seasons, and even within that, just sitting down and saying, okay, I'm going to commit to an hour of writing, however successful or unsuccessful that is. I'm going to commit to that every day. I'm going to invite other people into the journey. I'm going to get help. I'm going to learn about this, but I'm going to commit to what it takes for this dream every day. And so even at even as I was going through, it was funny because I was thinking, oh, I need to sleep. I need to sleep enough. I need to make sure I'm exercising. I need to drink enough water. Like if I don't drink enough water, my brain is mush. I'm not going to be able to do this dream. So it's so funny how those simple things, that it's easy for me to tell people that, but those simple things were things I really needed to think about as I was pursuing this dream. And those little daily decisions to commit to this goal, to finish it, to set that deadline, to say, okay, I'm going to have my rough draft in at this time. I think my rough draft, it was right before I was going home for Christmas. So I was like typing it out, finishing the last bit, sending it off, and it was so funny, but I was just thinking, oh, without that commitment, without that date and telling someone, okay, I'm sending this to you, I wouldn't have been able to share with you today the joy in the success of sharing this beautiful gift I've been given with others. Like now people can go and they can read this story and be able to be inspired the way that I've been so inspired in my life. So all those little things mattered. It mattered that I drank enough water, and there's no's that you have to say, things that you have to choose when you're focused on dream, that your yes to the dream is going to be a no to something else. But like looking back, I don't think there's anything that I missed out on in writing this book. I just feel so excited that I was able to pursue this dream, and it brought so much life to me and so much excitement, and I feel like it's really expanded my life just in sharing Eva's story and being able to talk to the people about that, and see what their experiences of reading my book, and all of those little things that are blessings you don't anticipate when you do a project like this. You don't know how you'll be blessed or how you'll bless others.
So, going back to the title of the book, which is Legacy of of Hope and Love too. Um, I want to go deeper, and I think it's would it be good for a listener to think about what does it mean, what did it mean to Eva, and what did it mean to you, the hope where there's really nothing to hope for, right? There is not assurance that she was going to get out of the concentration camp. There is not assurance that she was actually going to be able to immigrate or to even have the family that she actually dreamed of after all of that. And then for you, you didn't know how much money and time it was going to take to write the book. But there was a lot of yeses along the way. It was not just the initial commitment, it was all the little yeses that you had along the way to persevere and to actually get the book into your hands. But not only having the book, but not to promote the book. So there are season challenges. And sometimes it feels like one season is enough. Like we don't want more of those seasons. Uh, so I want you to speak to that because we get to that like, I need to catch my breath. I don't think I can make it. I don't think I can send that second draft, right? That type of mindset they can creep in as we pursue any project, but especially when for our listeners, which is the fertility um, aspect.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think just absolutely. So I think, yes, absolutely. So I think with Eva, her hope was so strong because she was looking outside of herself. She had a cherished dream, but she faced the difficulty day to day in the concentration camps for her sister. And she always said, who is going to look after my sister if I don't? So to her, thinking it's not about me, it's about we. That is the the one thing that kept her going through those camps. And there's even a time when she would have the opportunity, somebody said they would hide or help her escape. But she said, no, what happens to my comrades happens to me, to the other people around me. It's not about me, it's about we. So that shift in focus was something that anchored her hope because she wasn't just focusing on herself. There was something bigger than herself that she was living for. And then also, I would say that cherished hope of a family that would be safe, you know, in the woods, like having their own home, kind of just safe from all of this death and destruction and people that were trying to get rid of the Jewish people around the world. She just thought, oh, I want my own family one day. And she cherished that hope. And then she was willing to accept how the dream came to her, even though when they moved, there was challenges. They took time to become established, to be able to earn the money they needed for all of the things that you need when you're starting over. So I think two things carried that hope. Number one, this cherished dream, looking outside of herself to the dream she hoped to share. It wasn't a dream just for her, it was a dream for her and future generations. And then a willingness to be flexible and to face the challenges and receive that as part of the dream, too. So those are two things that I think carried Eva through those difficulties. I think for me with my book, and then as you talk about the different seasons, right? You finish the book and then you think, oh my gosh, people are going to read it. and I'm going to tell people about it now. And you come to that moment of feeling like, oh, I thought I was done, but I'm just beginning. And I think what has helped me to expand my vision and to keep hope and to keep working and building new skills that I need to build to be able to share this message is that the message is something that I have been given, but it's such a big gift that I do have a call to share that gift. It wasn't just for me. Eva and I are friends. That's a gift. Not everyone has that opportunity to be friends with a Holocaust survivor, to be friends with a woman with so much wisdom and love and resilience. And people need that gift. People are struggling. People are going through painful things in their lives. So for me, just to hold that so tightly, I think is not going to be able to give that gift I'm meant to give. So I think too, for me, it's realizing that the dream is bigger than me. It's not just for me, it's for others. And that's one thing I think Eva taught me too, right? Even as she is journeying through these painful things and sharing her story again, it's not about her. It's about giving people something that can help them in their lives, giving young people the challenge and maybe the awareness that they can build a world that is more loving than the one they're in right now. That they can stand up against bullying. They can tell their mom that they love her, and that will change their world in some profound way. So I think one thing that I'm realizing about hope and love is that when you look at the gift as something you are giving to others that's bigger than yourself, it can help you to commit and persevere, even if you don't feel so rosy about it. You might not be like, oh, hooray, another challenge. You might think, oh, girl, okay, today I'm just getting through, but realizing you face that challenge, you keep on going because it's not about you. It's not about me. My dream's not only about me. It does give me so much, and it's been amazing to complete this project, but it's not just about me. It's about the gift that I'm giving, and I continue to receive as I give. So I think that's something that's helped me to hold on to hope and to expand my willingness to face challenges and to learn new skills that this season requires.
Right. Well, I think our listener is can really harvest from your book, but also I think our listener is also seeing that it becomes aware that there is not one thing, right? There's not the one thing that is going to get you there. It's the perseverance through the journey and also holding on to your dream. And I also want to talk to you because I know you're a coach, you are a wholeness coach, and you also have a Catholic coaching certification. So how did your faith and your formation as a coach um, infuse your work, even as a teacher, as a person? And what is the message for a woman that is seeking hunger, as this hunger for the family? They see the dream, they want the baby, they want they've been dreaming about this baby since they're little, and they're in the season of waiting. And faith, I think, is an important aspect, whether you're anywhere in the world. And I know it has influenced you big time. So I want you to share with our listener about your faith and your coaching and how all this influence and what are your words of encouragement.
Yes, I'd love to share about that. So, my faith has helped me to know that I'm not alone in whatever I'm pursuing. There's something bigger than me. There is strength that doesn't have to be just me. And also, I have a role